On day 1 of Luminalia, Pico gave to me a ship that flies around like a bee. That's right folks, the 3.22 PTU has dropped the long-awaited San'tok.yai, or STY as you're probably going to see it called since no one can speak Xi'an. This gorgeous green fighter is classified by SIG as a medium fighter, but it's much more a heavy fighter than a medium thanks to its size, shielding, and capacitor. It's similar on paper to the Scorpius, albeit with fewer missiles and no turret, but stronger weapon hardpoints and agility to make up for it. So how does this ship stack up to the competition? Let's get into it. So I've been busy, grinding bounty missions in the ePTU so that I could put this ship through its paces, and I've got to say, it performs really well all the way through VHRTs. Its biggest strengths are its 4 gimbaled size 3 hardpoints, its agility, and its cockpit view. The weapon hardpoints are locked at size 3, but they are gimbaled by default, and you can choose whether to activate the gimbals or keep the weapons fixed. Now, originally I had recorded a whole bunch of stuff about how absolutely amazing those Yongtu laser repeaters are. I mean, in the 3.22 PTU, they're currently doing more DPS than any size 4 laser repeater thanks to having all the same stats as the other size 3 laser repeaters in the game, but with a 50% faster fire rate. The thing is though, that's a bug. Since the Yongtus are supposed to fire faster, but they're supposed to have a lower alpha damage to compensate for that. YogiClat from SIG has confirmed this and has said that it's going to be fixed before 3.22 goes live, so if you're watching this video after that happened, just know that the San'tok.yai in this footage has 22% more sustained DPS and 50% more burst DPS than it's supposed to. The cool thing is that these repeaters can also be put on other ships, and they work just like you'd expect. The San'tok.yai also has 8 size 2 missiles. The hardpoints can't be changed, but you can equip any size 2 missiles that you want. Missiles are currently broken for all ships in the PTU, so I haven't been able to validate it for myself, but there's probably nothing special about the way these missiles fire. They're stored 2 in each wing, and you can make out the small circular missile bays when looking at the front of the ship. The ship has excellent agility and has a great jerk profile, which means when you ask it to start turning, it will respond right away. Its pitch roll yaw is significantly better than the Scorpius and way better than the F8C Vanguards and Ares. But you might say that's an unfair comparison because of its technical designation as a medium fighter. Well, okay, but it's also better than a Hornet series and the Bounty Defender. It's got very respectable G-forces, and its acceleration profile while under boost is super impressive thanks to the higher boost multiplier. It has less boost than the Scorpius, but its boost is more impactful, which I prefer since I rarely run out of boost when fighting NPCs. This ship actually has the second highest SCM speed in the game right now at 265 meters per second. It's second only to the Razor LX, and that's including all the snub ships in-game like the Fury and P-72. For comparison, the Kar2al's SCM speed is 224 meters per second. Lastly, I just want to touch on the cockpit view. You can see that there's a ton of visibility, which is fantastic for keeping tabs on your enemy, but there's also a bunch of cool little details here in the Kar2al alien dashboard. As you change different systems on your ship, like the quantum drive and the engine, different bits of the dashboard move around and light up or turn off. It's some great attention to detail that I really appreciate. A small nitpick I have about it though is that the teal coloring does get washed out pretty badly in a lot of situations, making it hard to see things. But I assume all of that is going to get overhauled at some point, since many ships have that issue. The main downsides of the San'tok.yai are what you'd expect from looking at it. Those wings are relatively fragile and not too difficult to shoot off, and they present a massive front cross-section to the enemy, especially given you only have a single size 2 shield and not a lot of hull HP. I'm hoping that the current hull HP numbers aren't accurate on SPViewer and Urkel, since right now the ship has even less total hull HP than the Kar2al, which is an ultra-agile light fighter. The ship also has a droning sound that makes it sound like an electric bus, and it's a known bug that it's too loud, so hopefully that gets fixed soon. Also, in line with the other Aopoa ship, the Kar2al, the ship's bug-like landing gear doesn't quite work, and it clips into the ground on most surfaces. You can still get in and out of the ship though, but I have heard of people flipping the ship like that. The ship automatically transforms into its VTOL configuration whenever you put the landing gear down, but you can also trigger that using the VTOL keybind. In VTOL mode, the ship has greatly reduced maneuverability in every dimension except upstrafe, So landing can get a bit tricky if you're not prepared for the drastic change in agility compared to what you were just flying. I would definitely not use the VTOL mode for combat for this reason, even though it gives the ship a much smaller front cross-section. Also, the ship has no flexible utility, with no cargo, no interior space to allow you to eat or drink while in vacuum, and no bed to log out from. It has a 250K micro SCU storage accessible from under the cockpit, and it has component access from both the front and the rear of the ship. But other than that, it's just a straight up purpose-built fighter. But dang does it work. So that all said, you'd expect me to rave about this ship for VHRT combat, right? Well, hold on now. It's a large ship with only a single size 2 shield, and the enemies in VHRTs have plenty of turrets that can track you if you're not careful. And at the end of the day, the young 2 repeaters still aren't close to the DPS of size 5 cannons. The new VHRT targets have massive size 3 shields, and those are going to pose a bit of a problem for this ship with its 1068 sustained DPS. For those missions, a laser cannon fit on a heavy fighter like an F-8C or Vanguard will produce over 2,000 sustained DPS, and that number just goes up as you get to ships with more size 5 hardpoints. But then obviously they have their own trade-offs. This ship is still a ton of fun to fly, and if you can avoid enough of the incoming turret damage from the enemies, it can definitely hold its own. At least for now, I think it's found a place in my hangar, because I found myself hunting down wingmen in missions when I didn't need to kill them just because I enjoyed shooting them down so much. It felt great to have high agility and high DPS packaged into one ship. Plus, when I got a mission with a neutral MSR in it and I decided to just ram it, I actually succeeded and completed the mission without getting a crime stat. So, this ship is the chosen one in my book. And that's all for the San'tok.yai for now, folks. If you've got any questions or comments, please let me know. You can find me in the comments on Twitch or in my Discord, so come by and say hi. Links are in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, folks. I hope you liked this video. Cheers.